Welcome everybody to our headquarters here at Land Rover BAR. First question is everybody dry? No, neither are these two. Okay, moving on. Jono, first of all, exhilarating conditions out there, as Ben described them in his post-racing interviews. But I mean, all sorts taking place out there on various different boats, suffering various different damages. Let's just touch on Team New Zealand and then we'll deal with it a little later on. But first of all, your reaction to what happened to their pitch pole.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Well, I think first and foremost, as a sportsman, as a yachtsman, you never actually want to go out and win races like that. You don't like to see your opposition put into compromised positions as they ended up there. But, you know, thankfully everyone on board was okay. And I think really what we saw today is these boats really pushed to their limits, and this was the top end of their breeze. As you saw at the first couple of races when we first got out there, the races were postponed because they're going over the upper limit of what we could race in. So like in any yacht, we have limits to what we can sail in, and we were just there today.
And Ben was saying in his post-racing interview as well with the TV commentary team that this morning you guys talked about what might happen should one of the teams have a real problem out there today, and the feeling was very much in the camp that we go and help them. Yes,
no, exactly. You know, obviously when you are sailing high-performance boats like this, the risk is there. You know, the reason that we do have helmets and spare air on us is for safety, and it's a real risk. We unfortunately saw it in San Francisco, and it's definitely something that we don't want to see happen out here in Bermuda this summer. So we got together, we've got a very comprehensive incident plan that we have different roles and everyone has different duties in it. And you know, we got together this morning and made sure everyone is aware of it, and made a decision that if another boat did go over, that we would go over and assist. And what we do know is the whole of the New Zealand crew are okay, so that's the main thing. Bledden, in terms of your kit on the boat, and this was something again Ben touched on, but I think it's interesting for people to hear what you're wearing just to make sure you are as protected as you possibly can be when you're going 50 knots or so out there, which is what was happening today.
Yeah, exactly. As Jono mentioned, we're all wearing helmets on board, so that's kind of number one safety feature. But we've also got spare air, which can provide us up to kind of 3 minutes of air underwater if we're calm and relaxed, but up to 30 seconds if we're not. So yeah, use those breaths wisely. And we've also got knives on board, so if we ever get caught,
you can cut yourself out of a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Jono, let's reflect on the racing then, and what there was out there that we could see. And the first race against Team New Zealand, where just talk us through the start. We're going to put it up on the board and everyone can watch it, but just talk us through this start. Another good one from Ben.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A great start from Ben. The Kiwis here, as I guess everyone saw, they damaged their wing before the racing began, so they really were on this timed run to get out to the start line, and unfortunately the race before us got delayed, so they snuck in with probably about 30 or 40 seconds. They certainly didn't have a big build-up, and really I think part of their strategy today in this upper end wind limit was not to engage with Ben at all in the pre-start box, because as we've all seen, he's been starting so well, and it was clearly something they didn't really want a bar of, so they started behind and tried to use their boat speed to get past us.
That was their strategy, was it? Going into that, they decided that they didn't want to take us on.
Well, obviously I wasn't in their briefing.
No, but that's your analysis of it, rather than just hold back, let them go.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, we all saw the conditions out there today. We'd gone out earlier in the morning. We'd done a really good hours training session. We'd taken the boat through, you know, tacking, jibing in this upper wind strengths, done a lot of reaching and bearaways. And so I think they saw that. They knew how confident we were in the breeze, and they were, you know, I think quite rightly so, just probably staying away from us.
Yeah. Bledin, this morning you came off the boat and you could not wipe that smile off your face because you were so made up with the speed out there that you guys accomplished in the practice session this morning. I mean, how did that compare to this afternoon? And what does it feel like when you're put under that sort of pressure?
Yeah, for sure. We had a really good session this morning. Got some top speeds, so kind of hitting over 46, 47 knots consistently on barrelways. So it's kind of getting into new territory. And yeah, as you say, everybody came off the water, massive smiles all around. So it was a very positive session for us this morning and gave us kind of a lot of confidence going into this afternoon into what was in the end a bit more breeze. But yeah, you put a boat on a course with boundaries and marks you have to go around, and it gets a lot harder. So you kind of saw out there all the teams were essentially nursing the boat around the course, trying to minimise kind of mistakes. So it was good racing by all the teams.
Yeah, Jono, how tough is it with these manoeuvres on a course? Let's just actually show some more of the racing in race one, and we'll just show some manoeuvring, and we can just talk through this.
Yeah, you know, we've spoken about how physical these boats were, and the courses up until now have been like a 3 and a 5 leg course, and I think today was a 9 leg, and it's they're just unbelievable how much energy is required to put these boats through manoeuvres and get them around a course. And obviously when you lengthen the course out, you put more top and bottom marks in, it just takes more and more energy. And unfortunately, I think that's probably what ended up happening to us as the race progressed. That first race, we just started getting a little bit low on oil at critical times, and so some of our manoeuvring wasn't quite as crisp as it could have been. And I think in one of those manoeuvres, you know, Team New Zealand just managed to slip on by. But still, I think for everyone that was watching, it was a fantastic race, and the boys really dug deep. And, you know, it was, like Bledden said, it was about getting these boats around the course, but I think it was also a lot about seamanship today.
Yeah. What about in terms of manpower as well? Because these boys are having to work seriously hard. I mean, how hard was it grinding out there today?
Well, the second race cut short, so that was all right for me. I don't know what Neil was complaining about, to be honest. But yeah, we jump on the boat after that first race, and yeah, there wasn't much energy left.
No.
So yeah, we gave them a quick charge up on the oil, and then we were ready for the second race.
How high is your heart rate reaching at the peak, at the top?
It's consistently up to kind of 180, 190 beats per minute, so it's up there.
It's John Wood in the audience, because he'll be impressed by that. Let's talk about the second race then. Another good start, which forced them into playing catch-up, Jono.
Yeah, as you can see on the final approach here, Ben managed to get the hook in, and he just slowed the whole game down here. And really what he's trying to do is make their angle back to the start line as hard as he can. And, you know, in this situation, you know, again, we've got the high wind strength, and as you can see, we go for the bear away here, and again, I think the guys do a great job of this, and they get the boat down to their reaching angle and take off. And from the looks of things here, Team New Zealand just get a little bit out of whack with their rake adding. So essentially the boat becomes
They
quite
just
high
went
out of
too
the water,
high.
and then it dug both boats in. And effectively at this stage, you've just got a lot of friction on the front of the boat. It's going through the water, and the wing's still powered up, and it's just driving. All the energy is driving over
And
the
of
front
course,
of the
those
bows.
boys are on bikes. They're not arm grinding. They're on bikes. So doubly hard to get out of that situation, right?
No, absolutely. And again, like I say, this is something that we don't want to see in our this summer. This is it's a festival of sport at the end of the day, and we want everyone to go out there and race hard and have a good time. But we always want people to come home at night.
Yeah, no, it's pretty incredible, isn't it, to see scenes like that. What about what was going on the other races when we talk about Japan and Artemis as well? What did you make of what happened out there today between those two?
Yeah, so obviously Japan had quite a good day today with the 2 wins. And again, they were both trying to get the boat on the course. They weren't necessarily pushing to the max, but we think that, well, Japan did a very good job, quite clean, and yeah, very, very impressive.
Are you keeping one eye on them, Jono? Are you keeping one eye on what's happening with Artemis and Japan, or are you fully focused on what we're doing versus New Zealand?
I think at the moment, you know, our job's to just keep our eye on what's going on inside our own camp and just getting our boat around the track. You know, today, again, we spoke a lot about living in the moment. And, you know, what we mean by that is in these conditions that if you start to think about other things that are going on around you, you know, you can forget about doing your own job. And really in these conditions with these boats, you've got to think about, you know, what you can do to get your boat around the track as fast as you can. And that's, you know, our philosophy entering this regatta, and it'll certainly be that to the very end, because, you know, there's no point in having a look at the opposition until you get to the end of this part of the playoffs and see them in the finals.
We're 2 points adrift still. What are we dealing with tomorrow in terms of wind? Is it going to be too ferocious for us?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the updated forecast, but certainly before we went out, there was a lot of breeze forecast, and I think today we probably saw the upper limits of what we can sell these boats effectively in. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're held on the dock tomorrow and we have a lay day.
Okay, and perhaps look forward to Thursday.
Yeah, again though, I think we spoke on Saturday about this regatta being turned on its head a little bit by these high winds, and certainly the forecast for the rest of the week is very windy, so there's no let up in this. So it's we're going to have some good breeze. There may be a slight dip on Thursday as one front passes, another one comes in, and again it's back in on Friday.
What does that mean for the team as a whole tomorrow? What will they be doing if we get the heads up before we get out there tomorrow because it is too windy?
Well, it's going to be business as usual, unfortunately. So, we're not taking the foot off the throttle at all here. We're going to just be heads down, and we're going to, if we are on shore, we're going to be checking over the boat, really looking into our maintenance, and, we're doing maintenance on the sailors, getting them into the physio clinics, into the ice baths, and really pushing and doing as much as we can. So, the next time we go out sailing, we're ready for it, and we can attack with all the energy and ferocity needed.
Okay, we will be cheering you on once more as and when that happens. Jono, Bledin, thanks so much.
Thank you.